everybody. Um, yeah, I caught the stream last night. We were just having problems with our gas city setup, and I did a little bit more fixing offline. Basically, what happened was like some underlying infrastructure inside of the gas city. It was like we couldn't read any of our beads, and it turned out that was because of probably like a new bead version, a new version of beads, the executable, came out, and there was some like migration problems with that. All right. And so our mayor kind of forgot what we were doing and kind of remembers all of our stuff that was in flight was captured inside of the beads repository, and we didn't lose anything significant, we don't think. So, yeah, I didn't make you suffer through more of the why is the gas city not working. And probably I should have cut the stream whenever we're not actually working on puzzle games and our meta stuff. Yeah, finish off the antiquarian thread. Um, since we have a bunch of staging, let's double check that. I said we have a bunch of staging stuff. It would be here, here, here. So yeah, tons and tons of games. So our antiquarian went out to a puzzle site called Yanko that is like a encyclopedia full of tons and tons of game designs and examples, um, and rules and that kind of thing. And it staged a whole bunch of these, and then there's sort of a question about how do we quality check these before they get into our main entries database. Right now, the main entries database essentially has the English entries from Nikori, and we're gonna, you know, up it by a factor of 10 or something like that. Yeah, a lot of different puzzle designs in there. And so we were talking to the mayor about a bunch of stage catalog entries, and we want to find a way to figure out how to promote them. I believe we were working on a QC formula, or maybe that's ready. And we might want to edit the catalog formula so that we pick an appropriate agent to do QC. It was initially tagged to the simplifier. That seems like a separate specialty. You might just be able to use an agent, an antiquarian agent with a little less context to check the work. There were a number of proposed additions to the vocabulary. I assume feature detection, maybe 30. And we were working on a human ready presentation of those so I could review it. I think that would I think those things together would substantially increase the size of our catalog. After that, we could turn focus to refactoring tutor. All right, cool. All right. The other activity that we were doing last night, somewhat slowly, um, we had this logic puzzle going. I feel like we're quite close to finishing it, and I'll feel guilty until we do. Um, we were working on this. We were finishing off this Nagenawa. This is like rectangles only, and we got pretty close, I think, to wrapping it up completely logically. Like we finished it the first time by seeing a solution, and that's, it's valid at some level, but it's not really the way that we want to go. So, um, yeah, so we were trying to sort of reason our way through the last steps. Um, like we know we have to go here. Uh, so I think the problem basically with cutting off this rectangle right here, we could cut off this one down here and it would come down here. Then we'd have lines on column 3 and column 4. And there's nowhere to end this third rectangle, right? It has to end on one of these columns. And so even though we have 3 rectangles, we only have 2 columns to end them with. So one set of the rectangles has to get merged. And the only one that can really get merged, because they're on the same, they have the same vertical height, is right here. So I think that's sort of the last piece of reasoning that we would use to do this. Then this one right here would become a corner, and we'd do this. And then we'd still have to find a new rectangle to get this corner done right here. And we can draw it right here. Okay, so I think that's the last inference. And I think that's all valid as far as it goes. Enjoy this puzzle. As we mentioned before, I still haven't figured out takoyaki. I think there's still a lot of work to do to understand how it's supposed to work. Let's see. L is for corners, I is for straight, and X is if the cell is used by 0 or 2 rectangles. So this is an example of an X right here. So this would be LXI, LXI. Yeah. XIL, LXI. Okay. I think that one makes sense. That's it for page 5. Maybe we'll come back to takoyaki. Yeah, the other thing is the puzzle window is open, so we've got to go do our puzzles at some point too. I don't think I'm going to do that on camera because I don't want to give away any solutions or anything like that. And I'm supposed to be doing it on pencil and paper. Okay, we are familiar with skyscrapers. I can kind of explain how it goes. Um, skyscrapers have different heights. This is a 5 by 5 grid, and so we need to fill in each row with the numbers 1 through 5, no repeats. And oh, this is a different version of skyscrapers with the arrows. So the ones on the outside, so default skyscrapers, is like we look at the number on the outside of this right row, for instance, and we know that standing on the vantage of the number and looking toward the row this way, we can see 4 buildings. So that implies, for instance, that we can't have the highest building in front. If the highest building were in front, we couldn't see any of the buildings behind it. But if the lowest building is in front, like a 1, then we can see any of the buildings behind it. And so the buildings occlude each other if you have a higher building in front of a shorter building. Okay, and so what's with the arrows? I haven't seen these before. So yeah, in Simon Tatham, we've got this on the outside, and we've got some like given information, like a certain skyscraper is already filled in for you. Some cells contain arrows. Each one points toward a cell containing X. The number in the cell indicates the distance to that cell. So first off, there's no way to put a 5 on any of these arrows, right? Oh, okay. This is interesting. It says sort of that X is the number of cells in each row. Every arrow is pointing toward a cell containing a 5. That's interesting. It means, for instance, that like this 5 can't be back here because this one is pointing to this 5. And there's no 0 distances, so it's not like we can put a 5 here. And okay, that's interesting. So, for instance, if we knew that a 5 was right here, there can only be one per row, right? So they'd have this would say 2 because it's 2 away from this 5, and this would say 3 because it's 3 away from the 5. And then all the other constraints kind of obtain. Um, this is a Sudoku kind of puzzle where we're writing all of the numbers in the corners and trying to figure out which ones can go where. Um, so this will be a little bit interesting. Um, so let's start off with a certain clue that is true for skyscrapers puzzles regardless. Try to make this a little bit darker. Oh no. Did I get rid of all the previous color selections? Oh well, whatever. Okay, so here, in order for this, I think it's just the thinness of my. In order for this not to uh, occlude any buildings or enough buildings, we know that we can't put anything higher than a 2 in the front here. If we put a 3 in the front, then by definition we could only see 3 buildings, and we need to see 4 from this angle. Similar story here. Now this is kind of interesting too, because this right here implies that if there's a 5 in this direction, it can be max either here or here, 1 or 3. We can't put a 5 on an arrow because it would point on this arrow outside of the grid. That means these remaining ones are 4 or 5. Oh, so painful. 4 or 5. In fact, why don't we play a little trick here? Okay, let's do our mayor first too. Whenever the mayor's ready, let's talk to the mayor. Mall staging HQC exists. It's ready. The catalog ingest formula. Standard agents. Mm-hmm. I think that's true. That's fine. I think that's right. I think I would agree with that. Okay. Um, Sure. Sure. Okay. It's gonna be busy for a bit. The trick I was planning to play will be, we gotta be here. Um, I guess I don't have that. There are things that you can do to set frame opacity. The transparency, alpha mode. I had these in another Emacs a while back. Maybe we can just do it for terminal. Nothing special there. What I was planning to do was sort of type over the top of them. I guess that's not going to work very well. We kind of need a purpose-built machine to do this kind of work. All right. So the impact of 2 here is that we've got this 1, 2, and 3 here, right? If we have something lower than it in the first cell, and then the next cell is larger, then there's no way that we'll get 2 because there will be a 5 lurking back here somewhere. This definitely can't be 5. It's got to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then, yeah, but if this one is actually lower than this one, then that would be a problem. Because there'd have to be a 5 down here, and there wouldn't be any room for it, basically. 1, 2, 3. It seems weird to say that if you write a lot of clues in a Sudoku, it's like you've added almost no information. You're like, well, all that 1, 2, 3, 4 really represents is that there can't be a 5 there. But in this particular version of the puzzle, knowing where the 5s can't be is kind of helpful. Four. So hard to draw with my little mouse. And then maybe I can figure out how to get the tablet like drawing on the surface a little better. And then we know that the 5 can't be here. It would point off the grid. It can't be here. It could be here. So that means this arrow has to be a 1 or a 2 if it's going to point to a 5. Helpful info. This one has to be a 2 or a 3. This one also is a 1 or a 2 though, because neither of these is a 5, right? And if we know that this one's a 1 or a 2 and this one's a 1 or a 2, then this one has to be a 3. And if this one is a 3, then there has to be a 5 right here. And this one's got to be 1, 2, or 4. Certainly when you filled in like 2 clues for a row, that's enough to feel like you're getting somewhere. This has to be a 4, because it was 4 or 5. It has to be a 5. Makes this one a 1. So we've got just 2 and 4, 2 and 4 here. 1. Again, easier to do this with a pen. See how the mayor's doing. All right. Okay. So far, so good. Well, this one down here, it's got to be a 1, 2, or 3. All of these have to be a 1, 2, or 3. No new information there. This one has to be a 2, 3, or a 4. And it actually has to boil down to a 2 or a 3. So that's some nice new information. Because in fact, we've got 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. So that leaves 4, 5 for right here. The significance of putting a 5 down here is that you have to put a 4 in the first position to block all of the lesser buildings from being seen. If you put anything less, then it totally wouldn't work. Well, we're already not put, so this has to be 2 or 4, right? So we talked about the 4 case. 4 has to make 5 down here. Let's talk about the 2 case for a minute. You have to go 2, 1, 5. Excuse me. I feel like I'm going to sneeze, but not quite. Let's think about what would happen if we had a 5 here. If we had a 5 here, we'd need a 4 here, and that would make a 2 go up here. But that's a problem because the 3 is going to be in between the 2 and the 5. That would make 3 buildings showing. So that means that the 5 can't be here. It has to be right here. A little big. Okay. 5 has to be right here. This has to be a 2. That means this is a 4. And this is a 2. We can't have the 3 here or the 2, so this would have to be a 1. We can't see any more buildings, so this has to be a 5. This is a 2. This has to be a 3. All the other numbers are in the same row and column. 2. This 1 is pointing to that 5. 4. Now we're just eliminating numbers. The 5's got to be here. This has to be a 2. 4. 3. Now we're just doing that Sudoku thing. 3. 4. 3. So we would enter 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. Yep, good. We got there. Okay, and we understand the arrows too. That's interesting wrinkle. I hadn't seen that one. Skyscrapers double point to X. Oh, so that each number appears twice in each column. X is half the number of cells in each row because we're going to have 2 copies of everything. Shorter skyscrapers, are hidden behind tall or equally tall ones. So this one can see 3 because this 3 is hidden by this 3, and this one is hidden by this 2. Okay, got it. Okay, let's not look at their answer. This is cool. I've never seen double skyscrapers before. Oh, and of course they can't help themselves. They've got to put the answer in every possible place where I'm trying to work. I remember last time what we did. We did this, this, this. Yeah, I think if we do this enough, then we're going to blot out the sun here. Okay, I didn't try to memorize those numbers, so hopefully that is enough. So the highest number here is 3, which is really interesting. And so these numbers are saying where the 3's are. So it's not as easy as last time because it's definitely possible that there could be a 3 on an arrow pointing to another 3. Yeah, that's going to be the interesting difficulty. If we can see 3 from a side, then we've got to have 1, 2, and 3. We can have a 1 behind a 1 and a 2 behind a 2 and a 3 behind a 3, but we can't have a 1 behind a 2, that kind of thing. I think that means, yeah, wouldn't this have to be a 1? So you can see here, we have our 2 1s taken care of. This one has to be a 1 or a 2, but because we've gotten 2 1s taken care of in this column, it's got to be a 2. And same for this one. It's got to be a 2. And then these last 2 are 3's. There's a 3 that's 3 away. There's a 3 that's 3 away. And there's a, so the closest 3 we can get here is 2 away. There's a 3 here. Okay. We can see 3 buildings from here. There's a 2 kind of hidden back here. This one, though, it's got to be a 1 or a 2 because the 3's are taken up in this column. This one can't be a 3 also because it would mean that only 2 buildings were visible from this angle. So even though we don't know which is which, we can be sure that the 3's are this way. We're not sure if the second 3 is right here. If this represents a 1 or a 2. And we're not sure if this is also a 3. We've got a 1 or a 3. Oh, well, we've got 2 3's here, and we need another 3 in this row. It's got to be here. Okay, so now we know these. They point to the closest one. Then 1, 1. Kind of eliminated. This can't be a 3 because there'd only be 2 buildings visible from this angle. Good. So we've got 2 from this side, 3 from this side. Either order is going to make 3 from this side and 2 from this side. This definitely can't be a 3. It's got to be a 1 or a 2, but the 1's are used, so this is a 2. This isn't a 3, because that would make only 1 visible from this angle. All right. This one felt kind of easy. Even though I've got a 1 here, I haven't eliminated this one over here because it appears twice in the column. That is a kind of interesting fact about this one. We've got 2 3's in this column, and we need 1 in this row. Here it is. Both 2's are used. this is going to be a 1 or a 3. It's actually got to be a 3. The last 3 on the board. So this clue is satisfied. And we're kind of mopping up at this point. Yep. That looks all consistent to me. All right. So we want 2 1 3 2 1 3 3 3 2 1 2 1. Yep. Cool. All right. That's a fun one too. It seemed easier than normal skyscrapers to me. Skyscraper thermometers. What do we have here? Thermometers indicate a sequence that it must be strictly increasing from the round bulb to the other end. No duplicates. Each thermometer has only one bulb. Okay, well this is really interesting because now the clues outside are not specified, right? So we don't know, so we know that these are increasing, but we don't know how much they're increasing. We know that you have to be able to see at least one building from each side, so the numbers range from 1 to 4. And that means, for instance, that like this is a 1 2, this is a 2 3, and this is a 3 or 4. And similarly for this one, 1 2, a 2 3, and this one is a 3 or a 4. Well, let's start with this is a 3. This can't be a 3 because you could only see up to 2 buildings in this angle. And this says you have to be able to see at least 3. So this has to be a 2. Since this has to be less than, this is gonna, here, I'll just erase this. So it has to be a 2. This has to be a 1. And this one, we can't see 4 buildings with a 2 in the way. So this is gonna have to be a 3. Okay. One building means that we'd have to put a 4 here. And 2 buildings mean we have to put a 1 here. So this can't be a 4 because the only way to do 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. But here we'd have 2 buildings of repeat size. So this guy has got to be a 3. And this is a 2. And this is a 1. So our thermometers are kind of over. And now we're just doing the puzzle. This is a 1 or a 2. Since the 2 is already occupied, we've got to make it a 1. Let's see here. Now that we have, we've got the 4 in front of the 1, we've kind of consumed this clue. The C3 here, we can't put the 4 here, but we definitely can't put it here. It's got to go here. That means the last 4 is right here. This clue has now been used because no matter what we put in here, 2 or 3, it's got to be 3. I mean, we're definitely in like the mop-up stage now. Okay, so the answers, are we supposed to include the thermometer? 2 3 4 1 4 2 1 3. Yep, don't include anything outside. Okay, that was a fast one. All right, skyscrapers was fast, no problem. If they're that difficulty in the problem set, we should definitely do those quickly. Make a beeline for those for sure. Here's the last page of puzzle instructions. Slitherlink hex. So I was doing these on my phone earlier today. I will show you how it's done. So Slitherlink, right? And yeah, we don't want to see the answer. I scroll past it. Perfect. Yeah, a single non-intersecting loop. We've got to color in a lot of these edges, and there are only so many around each polygon. We got to make a single continuous loop without branching, and here we go. If we didn't take this path, we wouldn't have enough to do 5 edges. And then this is like a common pattern that you'll see. This 3 on the edge, we can either take this path or this path. So we have to take this one, because both of those paths terminate in that node going that way. We got to bend around a 5. This 2 is satisfied. There's no way to do any else with the 2. Let's see. This is a 3 length segment now. Can't go this way around the 2. That would be too long. We've got 2 edges left. We have to get one more on the 2. Like that, that. Can't make a loop. We've come into a 5, so we have to use the other ones. Yeah. Sorry if I'm going a little fast on this one. This is like, there you go, done. For each designated row, enter the contents from left to right. So I think that means line, no line. This would be yes, no, yes, no. And then this one is going to be yes, 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 yes. Yes, no, yes, no. Oh, for a cell inside and outside of the loop. Okay, I see. Inside, inside, outside. Inside, outside. Inside, outside, inside. Okay, so that's how they want you to do it. I thought they were doing mark edges, but okay, it's inside, outside. All right, Slitherlink with hexes. I was doing bigger ones like 7x7s fairly fast. Hmm. Okay, so it's ready. Oops, shoot. Um, let's do them together. Oh wait, I guess I should look to see if it's just document that I'm supposed to look through. Okay, the formula edits were done. Thank you. Yeah. Let's walk through them together. Give me the first speed. Okay. So the link hex, no problem. I might even want to do that first. Compass. Don't think I've seen before. Divide the grid along the dashed line into regions. Each cell must be in exactly one region, and each region is going to contain exactly one clue. Those are the X-likes, so there were 5 clues in there. The number in the north part indicates how many are located north of it, and how many are located south, etc. The letters don't do anything. They just label the regions. Because they're all distinct, right? There's 5 clues, so we're going to have 5 regions. All right, let's move up this way. If there's no number in a part, then they're not given to you. Okay, there's 0 above it, so there has to be a border here. There's at least one somewhere below it, and we don't know how many there are in the west direction. If there is no number in a... Oh, the number is not given to you, so it's unspecified. Right, but that's what we thought. So there's 3 above it and 3 to the left of it. But say like we did this cell, it would count for both. And so would this one. 2 below it. And just because it's below it doesn't mean that, yeah, just because it's below it doesn't mean it's directly below it. It could be like off to the side. Like that. Okay, interesting one. I think what's also interesting is that it's hard to tell which one to assign where. Where are they going to clash, you know? So like this says 3 of these E cells are going to be somewhere in this part of the puzzle. 2 of these C cells are going to be over here. 2 of the C cells are going to be over here. We could look for places where we'd really be blocking off a certain region. For instance, say this were a C, right? It's pretty inconceivable that one of the D cells could be over here in the corner, because they would have to march all the way around like this, maybe to here. And so there's no path for B to get anywhere below it, right? So C would block D from getting to here. It would have to do 2 over here. Some of these 2. And we'd also have to get E kind of going this way. This is an interesting puzzle. Whatever region this is, too, obviously it has to come out this way as well. These 2 are kind of linked in a way. They can't, we can't link them to down this way though. Well, they could be linked, but it would cut off B again. But if B expanded this way, it obviously couldn't. There'd be another wall here. There's no way for these to be C's, and the reason for that is that any path that takes them to C is going to take at least one more cell to get down here, and that would mean there'd be more than 2 cells above this point for C. So they're not C's, they're not B's. Again, there's no conceivable path to get it down to E. There's A or D. Is there a path that could take it to D? It's a pretty strict one. Like here. It cuts off a lot of cells from A. What if we came around this way? It would cut off everything from E. Maybe that's the answer, is that if we go one way, then we cut off everything from A. Like it can't get its job done. And if we go the other way, we cut off everything from E and it can't get its job done. So therefore, we would assign these to A. And that doesn't impact any of its clues. It's just the only way to do it, I think. We are squeezing out cells that we need to put into C, right? We both need to give C a couple of things to do, and we need to grow A down into the rest of the puzzle. The other thing we need to do that's kind of weird is make room for, so A is going to kind of squish downwards. C is going to sort of squish upwards. Something like, if these were C's right here, that would satisfy its clues. And it couldn't go do any more up or down. All of this would be A, and then down a couple, I think. We'd have to get one B and then stop. We could get 2 D's down here. Squish 3 E's here. Put a B in here. And then we could finish off with C. I guess that kind of works. I feel like I might have missed a contradiction there. Cool. Yeah. I mean, we just did skyscrapers too. I mean, I think that does count too. I don't know the German names for things. Uh, let's look at oh, whoops, we moved everything. What was it? What was one of them? File nets. Oh, just a minute. just have a little errand to take care of. So this is called Arrow Web or Arrow Network. Uh, just curious. I think don't we have skyscrapers? Is that not what they call it? Hmm. It's not in the Wikipedia page. Maybe it has a name in. I mean, we just saw it on the puzzle. Um, they called it skyscrapers, but maybe in Simon Tatham's it says what's the original name? The reason I'm checking this is because okay, it's called Towers in Simon Tatham. Oh, various names, particularly skyscrapers, but we don't know who first invented it. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, maybe we haven't found it. It's not in our catalog yet. hmm I buy this. I buy this. I buy this classification. I buy this edition. Let's just say. um, there's a puzzle called Skyscrapers in World Puzzle Grand Prix. Hours. Simon Tatham. Um, that counts how many are visible in the grid, how many buildings when looking at it from the outside in. It would also qualify. Using a few clues of this sort, the fact that a taller tower occludes a smaller tower, and that there is one of each tower from 1 to n in each row and column of an n by n grid. You can fill in the whole grid. Mhm. Cool. Files all in. File pod. Raitonanba. Let's look at that one. Couldn't guess. Oh, light number? Raitonanba. Place a star and a block in each row so that stars form a permutation. Blocks form a permutation. A star illuminates cells. Oh, okay. how many times that cell is illuminated by stars. Uh-huh. Akari style directional illumination. That is funny. Cool. So it's like lanterns plus, basically. That's cool. Yeah, I would definitely buy that. That's the that makes sense. Sorry, so many. Okay, cool. Locality with sums. Yep. Kakuras. Um. Oh, okay. Broaden the existing class to omit operations, or add as a sibling class. Yeah, I agree. Uh-huh. I agree. The even though there is a similar feel to such counts versus sums. Counts much more are more prevalent, and the puzzles definitely feel different. Um, since these are both local clues, maybe that's a common tag to use for both. I understand not want to get into um, super classes, but um, I can understand not wanting to get into super classes. Say a hierarchy of tags, but be that might be useful. A perfect matching. Oh yeah, sure. Um, every tent has a tree. That's definitely a thing. I agree. Yes. True. Tenses class. Sample, but there are other. Just a sec. Okay, gonna put in for a pause. Duty calls. Be right back.